Hey, how are you guys? This is Brian, and I am Zam, as an artist name, a musician, singer, songwriter from Australia. So, you may be wondering what is this new video I'm making, and you guys are the first timers here. I'll be uploading some special music production advices, BTS behind the scenes. It'll be actually really great to kind of show this creativity of mine. And if you don't know me, I've been playing and singing and been producing just only about 2.5 years, I think. And I did some gigs around Australia, some for um, in the Northern Rivers, and kind of just like showing my creativity and authenticity of who I am as an artist, and really share my thoughts. And yeah, you guys like some music. And let's get to the process of my special single, Say Goodbye. This is how I made all of these guitar tracks, and especially with main vocals that's compiled into like about six, really. And yeah, I actually have like Dream Clean speakers that I just name, and individuals like low vox and high vox. So I'll be having digital listen a bit of the guitar parts. So yeah, that's for the intro. I think I started using this as a jazz master. So that's the first one. Now when it comes to the second, I kind of just like used the pan to the left. So let's say the mid range, for example, mid range of the guitar, and it just actually helps a lot to keep that guitar going a lot really well. Yeah, it just repeats like a loop, but I did it in a few couple of takes. And then this one is more a bit of like a scratchy spanky tone. And yeah, I think the second one adds a little bit of a sparkle higher mid range compared to this low range. So low, mid, highs, similar like an EQ, and that's why I practice using the equalization within Logic to get an understanding on how frequencies are different between guitar parts, bass parts. Yeah, the next one is actually interesting, which is the low vocals. I learned from an artist that I love so much. It's called Daywave, and this whole process really is, quite simple but effective in a way that I actually want to get the sound right so bad. So it just kind of make me crazy sometimes, like, oh, how do I get this? And it's just like I have to change a different presets, plugins, or any effects. I try to make it simple as I can, and it's one of the most challenging actually when it comes to producing. Is if I want to think something beyond to make it great, I have to keep it simple and what do they actually do in each one of them, rather than just jumping a lot of plugins, which I used to do. So my habit is in this situation, I was saying, is like all of the low vocals are really maintained, and it's just balance of like a vintage effect about in the mid high. So if I show you the graphic equalization, I just use this like removing the 16K, and that's how the band and a singer-songwriter producer, Daywave, his name's Jackson, said he remove all the highs. So that's I actually did, and it's really good in all of it. So I did like some of it and not all of it, like depending on the sound. If one is like muddy or in the mid range, or it's too effect weirdness, obnoxious, or I don't know, craziness, and that sound that's like really not perfect. In the low mumbling, well, I have to kind of scoop it out and kind of make it maintain in the proper position. So for the high vox, it's more like a reverb effect, and I think I used a bus to kind of actually like a preset of widespread. And Logic has great, wonderful presets here. I think I actually make my own, so you can see they're just like names and some artists that I like, and just kind of make mine. But other than that, all of these actually have their own impressive tones, and some can change within the update of Logic Pro X. So just to be aware, you have to move some stuff. But other than that, it's still there, and that's my favorite. The secret technique, I actually get this reverb tone. It's a spring box. So without the spring box, it's too dry. But I still like it. Adds a bit of like a natural dry tone, and that's the purpose of this track. But if I wanted something in the intro that's make it dreamier, smoother, and that nostalgic, this is where I get this kind of indie soft tone. So that's my main of my genre. Sorry, is my alternative indie pop, and this is where I focus kind of other artists like Clairo, Daywave, Dayglow, Hazel English. What else? Bit of a shoegaze. Maybe my Blood Valentine, which I haven't listened honestly, but I will. And yeah, I just really like warm, simple, authentic tones first at the moment before the distortion. Reason why the distortion can bleed my ears sometimes, so I actually stay away from that. But doesn't mean I hate it. But I actually want to master in each one of those tones, like distortions, overdrive, because they have a unique harmonic distortion rather than a simple dry tone, which just makes it easier for me. And the next one is actually drums. So I'm using a Portland kit. So we have like kick, snare, toms, hi-hats. But for now it's just kick and snare. And what it does is has a gain, chroma glow. Yeah, there are some times with the chroma glow can be a little bit CPU efficiency. If you don't know what that means, there it goes. It's crapping its CPU for some reason, but when I play the whole thing, it's totally okay. So just to be aware, it can, yeah, do that if I have some plugins already in there. If without it, it will remove this CPU in efficiency. But overall, it's pretty good. And the one technique I always use is just use the low latency, just to reduce it every time I record or anything situation that is problematic. Even though I might lose my legs, but I won't. The same as from producing, but no. Anyways, so as we continue, is the bass part. It's a bit of a low end. It's a gain, channel EQ, and one of the most interesting is pad effects. This plugin exaggerates it and kind of manipulate in other effects and individually like a bandpass EQ. I haven't used it much with a filter, but could be useful on for a synthesizer. And I absolutely love it because yeah, it just adds a texture greedy tone. And if you put it without it, kind of loses the dynamics, I guess. Yeah, it just loses the dynamics a little bit, and it's too open. I want to make it sustain behind the mix, but a lot of low end because I'm using the bass enhancer and a compressor. I don't add any more compressor if it has a built-in compressor. I just leave it. Really, honestly, because it's the purpose of this track is to make it simple as I can. And then let's continue on the chorus section.
Say goodbye to my younger self. As I am growing up so fast, those moments, then I cannot pretend. So say goodbye to my oldest friends, passing by in another life, those moments that I cannot pretend.
Wow, that's pretty loud a bit. Honestly, my mix kind of need to be worked on. Because strings. Now, this is quite interesting. I just only put the minimal volume from my headphone, and I do this every time. And the reason why I do that, like high, low volume within my headphone, is to practice on where are the dynamics coming out and where is it spilling, and it will help my ears improving rather than boost the volume. So I always put it in a very low, about maybe a little bit on the side range. So let's say 4 or 5 decibels or volume, in this headphone output. Okay, so the string is kind of a bit too much. It's okay. It's just maybe could be the volume or the resonance. Yeah, I could have cut off the resonance in the first place, just because it was like bleeding out. Not bleeding so much, but just bleeding out. It's like finding the vocals a bit up and down, but it's alright. I think next time I should improve that. Anyways, there's a shaker here. And quite interesting that I realized in producing is the shaker gained a lot of attention and detail. I don't know why, if you ask me, but there are songs, especially in shoegaze. I did some research where there's like a tambourine background in between sections in the verse or the chorus, and just kind of enlightens and lift up really a lot of the track. And for some reason, it makes it
to my younger self. Yes, I am growing up so fast. Those moments, then I cannot pretend.
Now, if we go to the pre-intro.
Say goodbye.
One of the most challenging part is transition and sections. So for this one, I had a bit of a struggle in creating idea. However, I used the same note for the next root and then the next root. Not that next root notes, apologies. In individual notes from the melody, let's say, for example, like this, in the massive strings. I kind of create something of a solo melody, but in a different way. And the way I do it, sorry, is using the Dreams clean speaker. I always like to make harmony melody. There is I don't know why exactly, or the reason why I do it, but it just fits me and it just comes out smoothly from what I play. So there is no secret technique here, or there's no how do I do this or exactly notes I play, but it's mostly the width between left and right speakers to make it more interesting but different melody that bounce. And that's how I do it. And then later on, that's where I make the solo melody, which is the strings. So it's quite interesting. Sometimes there are some songwriters or producers do the opposite, but for me, I prefer to do it this way. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you want to ask more questions and comment down below, that'll be helpful for me in for my next videos. And just want to say thank you very much for listening my first YouTube. And honestly, it is really great to see some people watching. And if this is your first time, well, let me tell you that I'm a musician artist, and you know me as Sam. And I always love alternative indie music and kind of different artists, like Dayglow, Clairo, and yeah, just really been my passion, honestly. Even though it's hard to get it right, but in the next few weeks, you'll see me on what's coming, and yeah, and just stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated. And this is production by Limerence.